Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this PV Tech Talk Product Series webinar. My name is Mark Osborne, the Senior News Editor at PV Tech. Today we've partnered with TE Connectivity on raising the bar on PV power plant connector technology and the introduction of the company's new SolarLock 2.0 series of connector solutions. We have two highly experienced presenters today. These include Roya Zaleta, Business Development Manager for Renewables at TE Connectivity, and Frank Rosenkrantz, Product Manager for the SolarLock DC connectors, also at TE Connectivity. We'll have around 10 minutes of Q&A session available today at the end. So please use the questions section that you see on the right-hand side during the presentations. Well, that's it from me for the moment. Our first speaker will be Roya Zaleta. The floor is yours, Roya. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for attending this very interesting talk. Today, we're talking about the new PV connectors released by TE Connectivity, and actually how are we adding to this interesting space with new technologies for solar applications. So today with you, my colleague, Frank Rosenkrantz. He is our Global Product Manager for Solar Products and Solutions. He is one of the pioneers in the PV connectors industry with more than 38 years of experience working in this space, and he's been involved in several R&D initiatives during the time slot that we will present later. My name is Roger Zuleta, Business Development Manager for Renewable Energies, focused on solar with more than 16 years experience, 4 of them in TE Connectivity. So about our company, many of you might be familiar with our products. TE is an umbrella conglomerate of multiple brands. Among of them, one of the very important and influential brands in the PV industry. This is the AMP connectors. Actually, this trademark SolarLock was registered first time in 1979. In early 80s, so 1983, we released our first SolarLock catalog with unique developed connectors for interconnection of different solar panels and multiple applications. Then early in the 2000s, we developed our SolarLock connector with the standard solar interface that actually became a reference way of interconnecting PV connectors, especially in solar panels applications, of course, and other interesting off-the-shelf applications. 2012, we released our PV4 connectors, and then continue working in the platform to make it applicable to the large scale applications, like the 1.5 kilovolts DC applications that we see today in large scale solar. And last year, in 2020, we released a brand new technology that is the SolarLock 2.0 platform that you will see later, some of the features and some of the things that make this product unique in the market. And this year, 2021, we are continue expanding on this platform with the release of the SolarLock Tsplice, a very important product for repairing of DC cables in solar plants. So in terms of TE, we are all about connectivity, not just physical connections, but also wireless connections in certain industries. We are present along electrical grid in multiple application parts like rail and metro industry, offshore wind farms, offshore substations, very critical loads like mining and nuclear applications, as well as street lighting and other electrical grid applications. All in all together, these make us compile a lot of experience in different applications where safety, reliability, good connectors, and high quality performance is highly appreciated. With all of these together and our connectors and our solutions, we have enabled more than 85 gigawatts of solar installations just in the last decade all around the globe. So now going more into technicalities, if we look today at where the solar market is at the moment and where it's heading in the following years, if we look at the graph from NRL, we could see how the solar cells efficiencies have been decreasing for the last decades. If we look at the same more or less 4 decades of history that we've been involved in the market, we notice how across many different technologies and different type of solar cells, the efficiencies are simply going up and up and up, and more capacity is being added to the network. As a result, what we see on the left is today we have high performance solar panels. So we are looking at some manufacturers releasing panels over 600 watts each, which is quite impressive, not just in size, but also in terms of the energy production capabilities. Also on the inverters space, we see how the central inverters and even string inverters are getting bigger and bigger. We get central inverters reaching very close to the 5 megawatts each unit, which is a lot of power in one single central inverter, and also string inverters nearly reaching the megawatts capacity. So it's very difficult to draw the line where the string inverters actually are managing just one single string or multiple strings. All of that result is we are having more power being produced and being leaving the DC generator especially. So we have improved return on investments. We've seen how the price in the last auctions for solar applications is going lower and lower. But also there is a lot of pressure in the construction of these plants with less time for execution. Also, they need to perform optimal during the lifespan of the plant that is expected to be 20 to 25 years, and also being installed in very harsh environments. So looking at operation and maintenance, the main reasons for the downtime, and you could read across multiple reports from third parties and other research institutes or universities, the stress is going basically on the corrective maintenance procedures because we are having bigger installations, more power being produced in solar installations, more needs for quick repairs are happening. Due to the amount of solar panels, and also, of course, for every single panel, we have 2 PV connectors. So there are thousands and thousands of PV connectors in every single solar installation. They need a lot of replacement. They need a lot of maintenance to keep things being in a good shape. And of course, for the amount of DC cables that are interconnecting those panels and driving the power out of the plant, there are a lot of needs for repairing and changing DC cables in a timely manner. So looking at the performance implications for poor installations, if you read very interesting reports that are out in the market, like, for example, the guidelines for evaluating the fire risk in PV systems, written by the TÜV Rheinland in Germany, you could see how the more critical points in installations, like the one that you could appreciate in the photo, very interesting floating plant with trackers and also a lot of cabling going on over the platforms, we can appreciate that these type of installations are not just facing environmental challenges, but also mechanical challenges and other challenges that were probably not taken care of during the designing or testing procedures on the lab. As a result, what we've seen coming as the more fragile points in any single solar installation are the PV connectors and also a lot of issues with other components. But focusing today in the performance of the PV connectors in the field, we can appreciate how the poor crimping procedures, this is due to installation errors or workmanship, are causing a lot of problems. Also, poor termination of the PV connector itself. So we're talking about the metallic contacts on the inside and other cable preparation procedures that are actually contributing to power losses and other issues in the actual performance in the field. So these are things that we have collected, that we have gathered from the market and also discussing with our customers, and that we want to address with this new technology and the product that we have developed. So with this, I hand over to you, Mark, for the second part of the presentation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Roy. That's really interesting information you've provided there. Our second speaker will be Frank Rosenkrantz. Frank's going to look more specifically at the new product and give a lot of good application and simple steps as to how this all works. So, Frank, when you're ready, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, audience. Welcome, and I wish you some interesting next minutes. As Roger already said, we investigated and saw a lot of topics that an installer have pain with. Therefore, we decided to make a voice of customer and really find out what are the pain points, what make their life really extreme unhappy, let's say that way. So we got a lot of inputs, and some of the inputs we got are, as you see on the left upper side, that they miss parts when they are on the roof. So looking on the right side, seeing this guy, this is a regular installation, being on site, sitting on the roof, no matter if it's a residential or commercial or even power plant. If you have your connectors that you need for the end of the string, so the home run, and you grab into your pocket and don't have the correct parts in hands, it's a pity. You have to go back, and this is time consuming. The highest point that they say they have pain with is seen on upper right side, using special crimp tools. A special crimp tool is necessary because almost every crimp barrel is different. Therefore, every connector company have its own tool for having the correct tolerances to be crimped with. So this is a pain point because an installer have to deal with a lot of connectors. So in reality, you have to have a lot of hand tools, what are expensive, and they simply wear out during lifetime. So what if you simply could use, like you see on the bottom picture with the red handles, regular channel lock pliers? This would be the ideal tool that an installer like to use. Or bottom left side, incorrect conductor insertion. So you all know that you have to use the correct gender of contact feeding into the housing. You have to feed from the back side, some of them doing it from the front side. If it's in, it's locked, cut it, throw away. The next tool that the installer have to use on the lower right side is a torque wrench. Every connector manufacturer have its own secrets for a correct, in their eyes, perfect design. Therefore, they define the correct torquing for the back nut, hex nut, cable screw joint, however you will call the last part where the cable have to be tightened. If you over torque, you can have an issue with the insulation, of course, depending on the shore hardness of the insulation. So as well, you have differences between the different markets and the different cables that we see, so UL cables or IEC cables. Or if you under torque, you have simply leaking. Topics that installer on field cannot see are seen here on the screen. On the left side, here you see a bad part. What is a crimp that is cracked, that is not correctly closed? So you see here a lot of air gaps in between, because in reality, a good crimp is a gas tight, or have to be a gas tight connection. Using just a tool can cause these bad lookalikes that will destroy the metal part. as well will increase the voltage drops, increase the losses, decrease the life cycle. As Roger already said, plus 25 years is what we all expect the products will work, and decrease the reliability. When you go deeper in evaluation of the decreasing the product performance, as you see on the right side with number 2, there are pull-out forces that you can do in the lab, not in the field, but in the lab. And in the lab, it shows that you have significant differences when you make pull-out tests. There is a norm that defines that you have at least 310 newtons for pull-out force. If you have the correct hand tool with the correct cable and the correct contact fitting to the cable, you reach even twice as, so you see here in green, 740 Newton. If you are doing an incorrect stripping, and the majority of installers not using a correct stripping tool, they just go with a carpet knife, and then having a high-stranded cable, 50 plus strands, it easily can happen that 12 strands or 15 strands or whatever will be loosened. This is a significant reduction of copper that even with a pull-out force you can see. So we eliminated out of a 52 strand cable 12 strands, and here we see already a halvening of the pull-out forces. And if you then have an incorrect tool, you are below the mark that the norm defines as a correct pull-out force. Moreover, when you go deeper for the investigation of heating or resistance. On the right side, bottom, you see the picture thermography of right side, a correct crimp. So as I explained prior, well done, correct hand tool, correct stripping tool, all strands are existing. Then the middle bar, as you see on the bottom, where we have the 12 strands out, you see already on the part where the 12 strands are out, an increase in temperature. And on the left side, you see a high increase of temperature because you have as well an incorrect tool. Now looking on the left side, here the temperature will increase. So this is at 22 degrees centigrade. With just 25 amperes, if everyone is correct, you have a warming, what is normal, of 15 centigrade. If you have only 12 strands out, an increase by double, 30 to 32. And if you then use an incorrect tool, you even have 40 centigrade, what will significantly decrease the lifetime of your connector, even more if you are in a warm environment, so you easily can reach the upper temperature of the plastic of the connector that you're using. We addressed all these topics in our brand new collector called SolarLock 2.0. This is a true 1500 volt connector with an IDC technique, as you see the cross section on the right side. IDC insulation displacement is widely used since more than 30 years in all over the industry, no matter if it's automotive, industrial lighting, medical, or whatever. So this simply cut the insulation, only the insulation, and touches the strands as you see here in the cross section. And with this, you have a correct current handling. On the left side, you see that we have inside of the connector 2 blades, so 2 times 4 connection points. And everything is filled with gel. This is a special gel of TE called power gel. This is hydrophobe, means even if water is in, the water will be squeezed out. Therefore, our connector have an IP internal protection of 1 meter, 24 hours. Moreover, with the IDC technique, with one connector, we can cover 2.5, 4, and 6 square mil, wire gauge 14 to 10. So all 3 ranges just with one connector. How does it address as well helping time saving? Look on the bottom, the SolarLock 2.0 connector. This is really the connector that you see. You just cut the wire, no stripping, nothing. On top of the connector, you have a marking. So you measure with your thumb the length that you have to insert. Simply feed the wire into the connector and then close the bottom to fully closed. And for that, you use, as mentioned prior, the standard like hand tool, standard channel lock pliers, as you see on the right side. Of course, we offer as well a TE tool, but use channel lock pliers, what is really great. On top, we have as well a splice for repair issue. It's the same technique where I just can insert from left and right cables and making a very quick installation. Very quick means safety of 80% of time. Looking on the right side, what is a traditional installation where you need at least 3 tools, it takes, standing on the roof in the outside environment, 240 seconds or 4 minutes. Compared to the new way, SolarLock 2.0, you have less steps to do, no special tooling, and a mated pair you can install in less than 30 seconds. Really, less than 30 seconds. So more than 80% time saving. The portfolio of TE, of course, is looking on an array that we have, of course, traditional connectors, as you see on the right side, upper part. Then the new groundbreaking, as we think, way, SolarLock 2.0, especially designed for the installer or for the guys really doing the work on site. A Tsplice is coming. As well, we have a splice. And of course, we are offering jumpers, inline fuses, jail fuses, and grounding solutions. This is what we intend to make the life for the installer way more easy, because as the credo of our company says, every connection counts. Now I hand over to Mark, and thank you for participating and listening.
Well, thank you, Frank, and thank you again, Raya. We've got some really good questions here. So, and I know the time is running fast as always. So let's get stuck in, because we finished earlier there with where we were talking about how the connector works and the gel. So it's a question about the gel. Does this dry out at a certain point? Is there any problems with the gel?
No, there is no gel. This gel is used since more than 30 years in the lighting industry. So the connection from the lighting pole to the lighting pole, you dig in, the terminal blocks is inside, cable is connected, then we have 2 halves closing and the gel is inside, then it will be digged in. And since 30 years, this is standard technique and we have no issues.
Yeah. Now this we didn't get a chance to discuss this point, but I like it. Is, do you have any accelerated aging test data that you'd be able to share?
Yes, we have accelerate live testings. So you all know the DC, the damp heat testing, the TC testing, and the HF testing, what is 1210. And TE always try to go beyond. So we are at present, because it's that new and testing takes long, we are at present extending to 3 times the IEC testing. And as we pass this with our PV4S connector, traditional crimp snap-in connector, yes, SLK 2.0 will as well fit. And once the tests are done, we definitely will share it, but it's not a secret. We are the best.
That's a good one. Again, we didn't just go into any great detail on this, but I know from the product that there's a range of cable sizing that it can deal with. So the question is, what is the range of cable sizes compatible with your connectors?
Yeah, so the range, as I said, is 2.5, 4, and 6. So wire gauge 14, 12, and 10. So no matter what cable the installer have in hands, I'm talking here not only about the European cable with 52 plus strands. I'm talking here as well with a different UL design with 19 strands. So this is the patent that we have, as well as a special technique where we have, let's say, an intelligent V shape that really you can insert every cable that you like to insert. Of course, it has to be in the range of 5.5 to 7.2 millimeter without the diameter. And then the connection works perfect because we have the UL and the IEC approval.
Okay. Keeping roughly with this, with that theme, with the cabling, a question here from specifically to the 2.0 splice connectors. Question is, could they be used for, let's say, extension cables on the backline strings to the inverter? Yeah.
Yes, of course. They can be used, but we have the problem that at present we just have a version that is capable for running wire gauge 10, 6 square millimeters. But of course, yes, this is the intention. So every connection or every step over from a metal part to another metal part causes resistance. If you're doing a repair or a longing with a traditional connector, you have the crimping that makes the resistance, the other crimping that make the resistance, mating to each other have the other resistance. So having the splice, you just have insert one, and the resistance in between is eliminated. So the installation and repair is quicker, as well the losses are less because you have less points of resistance.
Okay. Slightly different take on this, but a question here about do you provide a version which can be factory mounted on PV modules?
Factory mounted is our PV4S. What is a traditional connector, as all other connectors in the market are. They can be applied with automated machines, and you can really make a full automated assembly. SolarLock 2.0 is really special designed for making the life of the installer easy. So we know it's a niche market. Anyhow, it's the most important way for really expanding the lifespan of PV field, making the life for the installer more easy, saving time, and as well saving all the failures that can happen by incorrect handling. Let me step in here. I see another question. If there are plans for WireGate 6, if there is demand, yes. At present, we know that WireGate 8 is, let's say, the coming trend. Of course, if you look on the amount of connectors, it's compared to WireGates 10 and 12 relatively less. WireGate 6 is even less. Open speaking, the design is in our drawer already. So we have a modification for making it wider. It will be then only wire gauge 8 and 6. If the request for doing it or the amount is here, or we have some company with high demand that is funding it, yes, we can do it right from the spot, and development time and approval time of the agency takes roughly 7 months.
Right. Now, another question here, and again, we didn't go into the actual sort of product availability as such, but obviously people are here from different parts of the world. What's the actual company capability of supplying, say, from Latin America to India to North America? How is that not? How are you able to do that?
TE is the largest cable manufacturer and connector manufacturer in the world. If we have big partners, I'm talking about big partners with high volume to buy, when we're doing the business direct. If not, we are working together with distributors, with partners. We have strong partners in Germany, and we open speaking, looking for strong partners in some other parts of the world. So whenever here is a party that is intent to be our distributor, we are more than happy to discuss with you. So smaller amounts will be definitely possible to buy via distribution. Big amounts we like to have direct, can be as well going by a distributor. I see here another point from Mr. Hofmeister that said it looks big and quite expensive. Yes. Yes, it's larger than a traditional connector, and yes, this connector is more expensive. But we are talking about the installer. 240 seconds, 4 minutes. So thumb rule in EMEA, US is the same. Let's go for $50 an hour, no matter if euro or US dollars. 240 seconds, 4 minutes is already $3 or €3.30 pure on installation cost. Time that the guy is sitting there wasting for installation. Our connector is 30 seconds. So if you have the same high rate of $50, we have a reduction for more than €3 because it's just 45 cents in installation. So this portion can be more expensive for the connector. It's not that much. So in the end, applied cost, you'll save money, even with one pair.
If I can add something there, Frank, and very important, we are talking about increasing reliability and availability of plants. If we look at the problem statement, some of the biggest concerns and fragile points in any solar installation are in relation to solar panels or PV connectors or DC cables that need repair, changes, or any type of fixing during the lifespan of the plant. If you have a good solid connector that will actually secure that this type of failures and downtime is not added to the normal operation, the return on investment is easily justifiable.
Okay, looking at the time, there's a couple of quick questions here. Obviously, going back to what you were saying about the product, and there's people asking about, you know, the comparison, the prices. So you were right to pick that one up, Frank. But what about availability of samples? What are you planning there? Because obviously
we have tons of. Yeah, excellent question. Thank you very much. So even we have companies that like to buy it. We have it on stock. So for example, we have 60,000 sets on stock in the US, roughly 20,000 in Europe. So it's enough there if you like to grab even a high portion, and as well samples. We are prepared. Reach out to PV Tech. You will get the addresses and our warehouse sitting here and just waiting for your request, sending samples that you can do it by your own, see how easy it is.
If I may add, Frank, one point here important. Somebody also asked about individuals like homeowners or residential applications. This product, and something that we actually haven't mentioned, is the only PV connector in the market with CE marking. It means any person can use it following the application instructions. So it's not something that needs a certified technician to actually use or operate, but can be used by anybody. So it's a connector that is extremely safe and easy to use by either commercial or people in large installations, as well as residential installations for interconnection of PV panels and other parts of the system.
Yeah.
I like this question. I know you did actually cover this, Frank, but maybe just cover this a little bit more. What are the mechanical tensile loads can the 2.0 plug withstand?
Sorry, I didn't grab it.
What are the mechanical tensile loads that the SLK 2.0 plug
the regulations that the agency say. So as well, the feed-in force, as well, the pull-out force, there are regulations by the agency. It's defined by the norm. So either by 6703 as well by 62852, and it all complies with the values that are given there.
Yeah. And I can take it, I've actually received one of the samples from TE Connectivity for people here. It's great stuff, and actually the actual tensile side of this, the pull was incredible. I really could not move it even a fraction of a hair when it's locked in place properly, and it's very easy to use. So the tensile side, trust me, can be a problem. I've seen these type of faults, and obviously cause shorting. So a really good product for that to use. And I guess one last question. Obviously, people want to know, has this product been used already, in real PV power plants? So just maybe a quick
yes,
answer to
it's
that.
ready. So we had our first sales by luck in Australia, New Zealand. So even when the product was not certified, when we were in certification, there the guys had problems, issues with termite attacks. So they're using the
Right.
Tsplice for repairing there as well already in America. So one of the big distributors we have, Highland, already sold some thousands of it. We did the approval in the US a little bit earlier. So it's, I will not say widely, but better known in the US. For Europe, we are now starting and engaging, but there are already some installations. There's a big distributor in the northern part, in the eastern part of Germany that already sold thousands of it, as well in other parts of Germany, France, Switzerland. This connector is already used, and hopefully more when you guys are excited to get samples and see, yes, this is what we like to use.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you again for today. Thank you to all the attendees. We've had a lot of people, some very good questions. Thank you very much for those. And thanks again for staying with us all the way through this. We've had a lot of people just, you know, obviously thoroughly enjoying this update, and it's good to see us covering the connector area. It's the first time we've actually had a webinar specifically on this. So thank you again, guys, for standing up for doing that with us. So that's it for everyone. If you've any questions, obviously please go to TE Connectivity, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon in another PV Tech Power Plant type webinar. And thanks very much. Goodbye.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you all.
participating. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thank you.
Goodbye. Bye.